Good morning to everyone and welcome back to the time management session of the Discom project. As I mentioned, now we will be going a little bit on the tools that you can use in your daily life to increase your better use of time and hopefully your productivity, and both in personal life and professional life. The first step that you could take in order to control your activities, because controlling it's the first step in time management. The first action that you can take, it's trying to set a list of short-term goals that you want to reach in the day, in the week, maybe even in a month. Like, for example, I want to prepare for this exam and have all the notes ready before the session, or I want to end a project at work. So you just identify short-term activities and final goals that you want to reach. Then you leave them on your desk, you leave this list of goals on your desk, and after the time expires, you just check how many of the goals you actually ended up completing successfully in time. This very easy task will allow you to understand the percentage of your successful rate. How many activities you end up completing in respect of those you wanted to complete. Once you have a general idea of your successful rate, what you can try to do is to organize these goals between themselves. You make a new list for the upcoming week or the upcoming month, and you go a little bit deeper in the description. You just not put the final goal on the paper, but you also try to write a breakdown of the activities that you need to perform in order to attain the final goal. And then at this point, once you have the goal and all the activities that you need to perform to reach the goal, you try to make a ranking of the goals between themselves and of the activities. So you understand what type of activities are most important, most necessary, most urgent to perform. This will give you the possibility to focus immediately on what are the urgent tasks. Sometimes urgent tasks are postponed because they might be a little bit difficult, they might be a little bit boring even, or because your action depends on the action of someone else. When you're working in a group, this is very often the case. So you will need to identify those actions that are most urgent and perform them in the first place. To do that, it's important to set deadlines. So you not only identify the task, the activities, but you also identify the deadline within which this specific activity has to be made, which could seem like a little bit easy to do, but then it's important to have always your deadlines in the book and to know your deadlines in advance. So it's not like you are just turning the page of your agenda and see, oh, I have this big deadline tomorrow, I didn't know that. So maybe what you can do, it's entering memos on your phone so that you know in advance of a week that you have a big deadline coming up. And to focus properly on given activities and given goals, there are some techniques that may suit for you. One, it's very common, it's to clean your desk. When you are working on the identified activities, you should have a table that is as clean as possible. You should only have those things that you need to perform that specific activity. So no cell phone, no documents related to other activities or anything like that, because these are a source of distraction. If I see on my desk the documents, a folder of another project, then with my mind, I'm always thinking two things: the activities that I am performing, and I will direct my attention also to the other project. So I will have a decrease in concentration and in quality of work performed. Which leads me to another significant point, multitasking. Modern society, it's very keen on multitasking, people that can do multiple stuff together at the same time. But sometimes it depends on yourself. This might not necessarily be the best option. Sometimes many people have difficulties in performing multitasking because they switch constantly from one activity to the other, so they do not manage their time properly because they shift their focus and they have to restart with their focus from the beginning when they go back to the second activity. So keep in mind that even though multitasking it's highly rated in society, in contemporary society, it is not necessary that it's the best option for you. And then again, you can adopt other techniques to avoid being distracted. So we are turning back on the distractions. You have to identify your distractions. Some are very easy, like your cell phone, as I mentioned. Some are less easy to identify, like colleagues coming in, going out. And then once you have identified all your distractions, then you can take consequent actions. Of course, it's very subjective. It goes a case-by-case study. For example, I work in an open space and there is a lot of people going in and going out, but there is a very small office with a door. So what I have done to increase my productivity, to limit, let's say, the sort of distractions of students coming in, colleagues coming in, it's for 2 hours a day, I go into this smaller office and I close the door. And people know that if the door is closed, I don't want to be disturbed. So they know that they can come in only if there is a huge emergency, like a fire going on and we have to evacuate the place. Otherwise, they know that those 2 hours are my safe haven. I don't want to be distracted and they do not come in. And this is also important because in those 2 hours, I have identified what it's been called the power hour. So 1 hour, 60 minutes, where I perform all the minor activities that I usually postpone. It's something that I deem to be boring or not really important, so something that I used to postpone a lot, but then I had to cope with a lot of activities in a short amount of time because deadlines were catching up. So twice a week I reserve 2 hours, one a day and one another day, where I perform as many as these small unimportant activities without people interrupting me. And I have done another thing in my life. I have identified my hours in the day where I perform the better. So if I concentrate small activities into my power hour, I concentrate the most important tasks in those hours in the day where I am most efficient. I deem to be most efficient in those hours, which is usually after dinner. You probably know that maybe after lunch you feel tired. So if you know that after lunch you are tired, it's unnecessary, if not negative, to focus on important tasks when you know that you are not working properly. So you can identify in your day the hours you are working better because you are alone or you just have a higher concentration. You concentrate all the most important tasks into these types of areas. What is most important to remind, after all, it's that time management, it's a soft skill that is acquired and developed over time. It's not something that you are born with, it's something that you can acquire and you can implement throughout your private and professional life. It's something that it's very subjective. It's not like you can copy solutions that have been already taken by other people. And once you have an approach, just remind to make it evolve with you and with your life. As your life, personal and professional life evolve, you have to update your time management approach that you have adopted. But if you go through the materials of the project, you will see a lot of many more examples and exercise to try to find the best way for you to manage your own time. So thank you very much and have a good day to everyone.